Welcome to the High-Tech Investments News Report for Week 35. The news report covers some of the many investments projects High-Tech Investments is currently involved in so you can follow our progress. We hope you will enjoy this news feed and look forward to your comments and remarks.
Hi, Bo here, and welcome back to this week's news report, where once again we're going to have a closer look at everything that has happened in the past week, both on our individual crypto platforms, looking at the coins, see what the values are, and of course also the main part that we are doing now. We're going to look into the Forex market. We're going to have a look at some of the EAs, how well they have done in the past weeks, and of course we're going to have a look also at one of the high jumpers for the week, actually making 30% in just 1 week, so which was last week. Overall also we have results for all the month of August. We're going to have a look at that. That is also why you will find that this particular news report is slightly longer, because we're going to go over all the monthly results all the way through here the video today. So you will be updated on what is actually moving, what's happening, and also are the big waves of the Forex market now over, or will they continue? These are all questions we're going to try and basically put some light on through the results that we have for you here today. On top of this, we're also going to have a closer look at Expert Forex. They've sent out a couple of videos. This is one of the ones that we're actually going to have a closer look at, where again Alex is playing around with some of the EAs, and we're going to have a also closer look at that. But let's not forget, we also have this particular week a couple of EAs that is actually have new updates. There's been quite a few updates for some of these EAs. We're going to tell you exactly which ones they are and what versions we are getting to. So let's get into exactly the nitty-gritty of last week. So this is another disappointing week, as we are back on the Yieldnodes platform. Nothing is happening, no emails is out there. We can also see on some of the Facebook groups in here, everybody is asking what is actually going on with Yieldnodes. There is no updates. We haven't really seen any replies at all from either Steve or Urts at the moment. So we are quickly going to jump on again to have a look at maybe the SAP has actually developed. And well, you can quickly see that that has developed only in one direction, and that is pretty much sideways. What we saw from SAP last week was pretty much at the red circle here, where we at the moment is at 7 zeros and then a 4. And since then, it has pretty much been moving within the same range. There's nothing new and sort of encouraging coming out of Yieldnodes at the moment, including also the coin development itself. If we go and have a look at the SAP coin and the staking that we have in here, this is actually the picture from last week. So the last time we actually got some staking in was on the 24th of August. Since then, nothing has come in. So unfortunately, there's nothing there to report or advise on. The good thing, however, was that August ended up the second highest overall. So that is the good and positive thing. So it didn't beat the month of May, but still we will take what was basically almost 1,300 SAP coins in here. And hopefully we'll see something again moving in the next month. When it comes to PNY, also here we did some staking. There's only one new one for the week, and that was actually on the 28th of August. And that also takes the month of August up to the same level as June and April, but still not basically surpassing January. But we are happy with around the 900 mark. So overall for the staking itself, so that is still a good level until hopefully we get some value back into these particular coins. So far, we only made 0.6%. And as I mentioned, 133 PNY, that was everything that we got out of it. So for that particular week. If we have a closer look at the Bitcoin versus USDT, that one hasn't developed very nicely in the past week. We left it up here last time just short of 64,000. Since then, it has been moving downwards towards the 50s or high 50s at least. And then at the moment, it's actually trading at 57,783 as we're shooting this particular video in here. And it looks like the trend will continue. However, it's only a small trend. So let's see if it's going to come even lower and into the mid 50s by next week. We also have some Trillant news, but that is only for the coin because again, As I mentioned a few times now, there's only a monthly report coming out from the Trillant, not the weekly one anymore. So we're going to jump straight over to coinstore.com. Have a look at the tree coin, which actually had a good development in the past week. It has been going downwards. So, and we have been reporting that. So last week it was at point and then 4 zeros, 21201. And this particular time around, it had actually gone up with about 50%, which is a nice development to see finally. So up at, again, 0.40309. So good development, but again, very, very small steps at the end of the day. You can see on some of the volume trading in here, there was a high volume of trading. So just before we were shooting this particular video and taking the numbers out. Having a look at Trade Explorer and having a look also at how well things have been going, you can see that the 10 pair one, and this is not a typo, it actually made in the past week $3,048 or just over 30%. So that is quite an astonishing part from the Trade Explorer. We haven't seen it that high ever before. Obviously, we're going to have a closer look at the numbers to compare them all, but let's have a look how well it actually did in August and also here. Again, an astonishing $5,545 in here, made 55.5% on a $10,000 account. Definitely extremely high. And if we have a look at the account itself to see how that has developed, obviously a very nice graph. We had this slight margin call, so not for the entire account, but definitely a bit of a dip. Since then, things have been very smooth. And then you can see lately here, together with the rest of the Forex market, there has been some jumps in here on exactly how this has been operating and how this has been working overall. So the next part that we're going to have a look at is obviously total return, 276%. We have history of 476 days also here. Trade per days is still around 12 and trade wins is a bit down. So we saw it up earlier, so a bit higher, so at 77, 78, it's 75.3 at the moment. So the Forex market has certainly taken a toll here on this particular year again. If we have a closer look also of why exactly this happened, so this is the floating profit and loss, so these are the drawdowns for that particular account. You can see the highest we ever had before was about 5,500. So this was back in the early days, and we haven't actually changed any settings since then. It has been behaving quite nicely, but have a look as the Forex market here actually built up some major heavy drawdowns in here. And also last week it ended up with the highest drawdown it ever had, 12,500, which would obviously kill a normal $10,000 account. This particular account survived because obviously the balance was already at 35,000 before all this happened. So definitely this shows you again what the Forex market has basically been up to in the last month or two here, and how quickly things can go wrong. Even though you think you are covered, everything is working, settings are good, and then after all this happens. Let's have a look at the numbers itself. Obviously a history of 476 days. There's quite a lot of history in here on the 10 pair one. And then have a look at the net profits over the weeks going back all to March. And for the first time we had more than 1,000. So this was in early August, 1,444. Then it dropped a bit again. And now see this astonishing last week with 3,048 in profit just for the week. If we jump on to the monthly results also in here, you can see when we had that little dip that was back in August 2023. So this is the minus part that this EA had. Since then, it has been doing 3,000. It did in July 2023, 3,500. Since then, it was running around 1,000, 2,000. And then in 2024, we were up about 1,000 up to 1,600. Then it dropped again in June, back up in July was 1,600, and then a massive 5,545 for the month of August. So definitely, again, very volatile Forex markets, and just tells us again, reminds us that we have to be extremely careful that whatever worked in the past doesn't seem to work right now. But still, let's have a look at the Wave Liberator to see how well that one been doing for week 35. We can see the EuroCAD up at $619. So that was a massive move. And again, 61.9%. So also here, heavy results. And this was, again, a movement into the market. It was in a bit of a drawdown. And then when you have a fast movement with a lot of open accounts, then you end up basically with something like this. The normal ones, Great British Pounds, Japanese, just $50 or 5%. Great British Pounds, USD, $40 or 4.0%. And then Aussie Swiss francs, $39 or 3.9%. US Japanese, $39 or 3.9%. So overall, you can see how much the EuroCAD is actually intervening here, because otherwise it would have been a lot lower. Total amount, 787 and 15.7%. But we would have been down in single digits if it wouldn't have been for the EuroCAD. So overall, most of the parts was a slow week, apart from just that particular one currency pair. But if we have a look at the entire August, then it still looks good for the top 5. EuroCAD 690, so just with that particular move last week, it jumps right into the lead at 69%. Aussie USD $557 or 55.7%, so also very high here. USD Swiss francs, which was definitely also trending quite a bit, $494 or 49.4%. Aussie Japanese, which is always a good mover, $422 or 42.2%. And then ending up with New Zealand, and again another Swiss francs in here, $354 or 35.4%. Overall, those top 5 EAs made $2,517 or just over 50% for the month of August. That is definitely well and beyond what is to be expected. Now we can have a look at the portfolio in here. You can see the graph has been nice and smooth. And then in the past couple of months, we can see also here that that has gone a lot faster, even though we've been trying to make the settings safer and making bigger gaps, everything else, it was still cashing in big time. Balance is good, 247,000. Equity at 238, and we started off with 22 accounts of 10,000, so 220. So we are in a nice profit at the moment in here. Total return so far 14.6%. Monthly returns 1.4 and weekly returns 0.3%. So also here profit is up. It used to be around 1.3. Trade wins 68, so everything is looking quite good with about 14 or 15 trades per day and with a history of 380 days. Now you can go and have a closer look at the individual currency pairs, also what I showed you here for the top 5. Simply go to our website, click on the individual links, and they will take you to the FX Blue sites for the individual currency pairs. And one of the things you will be able to see is these particular graphs, both with the monthly returns and the history overall. But here we are looking at the entire portfolio. So this is on a weekly basis. You can see the changes also in the Forex market here. We are at 300, 400, up to 600. And then we come into end of July, 1,400, 2,000. In August, we are at 1,084. Last week, we're at 987. And this particular week, we are up again at 1,085. So very, very good returns at the moment. So the waves are still very high. And the Wave Liberator definitely still cashing in quite nicely. Also here, you'll actually notice that for the month of August, it's the highest we ever had. Again, due to both high drawdowns and then it's cashing in afterwards. Previous month, as you can see, goes back to August 2023. We have been at 1,000 and 2,000 all the way through. And then all of a sudden we have this high jumper of $5,827. And this is obviously all the individual currency pairs, all 22 that are chipping in for this particular one. If we have a look at the RSI Liberator for week 35, we can see that that is a lot lower on the total amount here already. Euro Swiss francs did $54 or 5.4%. Aussie Swiss francs, again a Swiss francs in here, $39 or 3.9%. Euro, Great British Pounds, $38 or 3.8%, and then Aussie New Zealand, $32, 3.2%, and EuroCAD finishing up in the lower top 5 at $23 or 2.3%. Overall, this only managed $86 and 3.7%, which is obviously quite low. We didn't have any high jumpers similar to what we had on the Wave Liberator that actually pulled up all the numbers. But if we have a look at the month of August, we can still see everything was working out quite well. Again, here Swiss francs, which we've seen quite a few times, and obviously the Japanese also at the number 1 for the top 5 at $520 or 52.0%, followed by New Zealand Japanese $378 or 37.8%, Euro Swiss $330 or 33.0%, and then Euro Great British Pounds $302 or 30.2%. And the last but not least, Great British Pounds, Swiss francs, $290 or 29.0%. Overall, these top 5s made $1,820 or 36.4% at the end of the day. And that is definitely still quite well and quite good and well beyond the average. So having a look at the portfolio and see how that actually developed. Also, this particular portfolio, the floating profit is actually down from last week. Balance 232,000, equity 225,000, and floating profit at loss at minus 7,137. So a good profit at the moment, plenty of free margin. Also total return 2.9%, monthly returns 1.2%, and weekly returns 0.3%. So as you can see, both the Wave and RSI Liberator, they are delivering something similar. Trade wins at 67.2, and plenty of pips have been taken. Trades per day, there's a few more trades in here, 22.9, so almost 23 trades per day on average, and with a history of 149 days. Now also here, for the RSI, you can go in and have a look at the individual currency pairs to see which ones that you want to choose. It takes you straight to the FX Blue site, and you can then dissect both the drawdowns and the profits for the individual currency pairs. In the meantime, we're going to have a look at the entire portfolio for the weeks, and we can see here that in the past we did 3, 4, 5, 600s up here, then it dropped again to a couple of hundred. And then back in August, we had the big heavy drawdown and then a profit of 1,533. And then it was 949, it was 881. And all of a sudden we dropped all the way down here to 143. So extremely low overall here. So let's hope that this is going to come back again. We haven't really changed any settings that should reflect anything like this, other than just updating the EA. Let's have a look at the monthly, and you can see here that that particular last week hasn't done any big impacts, so it's still working quite well. Individual months, and obviously this is only from April, so we don't have so many months and information on the RSI yet. 1,500, 1,600, 1,900. July started to get very exciting with 3,346, and now month of August is the best one overall, 3,929. So things are going in the right direction also for the RSI Liberator version, and you can find more about this on our website. Again, you go to the website hightechinvestment.com, click on the portfolio. You will have a look at the Wave Liberator, the RSI, and that also leads us into the PAMM account. So if you click on that particular one, you will also see how well that has been doing. So overall, we are still moving in the right direction. You can see the graph is going up and up. The two sharp drops that we had in here is the 2 times that investors has basically taken out money, which is a good idea from time to time to basically claim your profits in here. Overall, again, this is the FX Blue, and I have to apologize because it doesn't really calculate the way it should. Every single time people are taking money out from the account, it also takes away the profits, and that's why you all of a sudden see back here in April the minus 16,000, and also here in August when we had a lot lower drawdown for the account. Again, a lot of money was taken out, about 50,000 I believe, and then it was down to minus 7,724, but we didn't really have any losses in here. It was simply just the profit was removed at the end of the day. So most probably we should have had a couple of thousand as usual in here, but it is very difficult to calculate on a PAMM account. History, we have 188 days. And as you'll see in the past couple of weeks, as we have dialed things down because it's very dangerous Forex market at the moment, we did 2,148, and this week we have done even better with $3,173 overall. So if we have a look at the month of August in here, and again, you'll notice the same thing. We started back in April. Here we also have a very low profit, but that was because that's where we had 60,000 taken out also. So it removed the entire profit from here. Then we had a couple of months where we didn't have too much. Also in July, we had some withdrawals, not major ones. And now again, here it looks like we only made 5,000. But as you noticed, when the profit was taken out, we are most probably somewhere around the same level as we were back in July, maybe slightly higher. It is extremely difficult to calculate because every single profit is actually changed. So when it comes to the individual investors, the profit is not necessarily exactly the same on a monthly basis unless they are going in on the same trades every single month. Now, if we have a closer look just at some of the other MAM accounts that Expert Forex has up here at the top part. So this is basically the overall MAM and PAM accounts that are in here. We can see total current balance is 565,000, where the high-tech investment Wave Liberator, we are actually managing about 294,000 at the moment. So about 52% of everything is in there. And when you have a look at the overall gains, then we have done more than 66%. So pretty much almost 2/3 in here, even though our account is only accounting for about 52%. So that is definitely a very good marker. Then we have average gains is about 19.1. We are up at 22.5, even though, again, some of these gains here is a bit off because of the massive withdrawals we had in here. The drawdown, however, overall, there's a drawdown of 135,000, and we have about half of it, which pretty much lines up with the account balance, but it's still fairly low when we then take into account also some of the extra gains that we have made compared to some of the other accounts. Drawdown average is about 23.9. We are slightly higher, but we also have a higher gain at the end of the day, and that has normally a bit of a link in between. Net gains, there's a minus 27,000 in here. So again, we are below the 50% mark, and the account is doing quite well, even though this is extremely difficult areas for the Forex market at the moment. So we're happy with this. And then also net gains, you can see still it has been extremely difficult start for most of the MAM and PAM accounts, minus 4.8. We are down at minus 4.1, and I'm sure we will do a lot better if we wouldn't have had these many withdrawals that basically pulling also the projected annual growth down to about 45%, because we believe that that is most probably closer to somewhere around the 80% mark with what we have at the moment, even though we have dialed it down quite significantly. Now you can obviously find a lot more details, both also on the Trade Explorer that we talked about earlier and the Lucky Trader, which we're going to have a look at. So this particular one has also been in a bit of a storm, and you'll see there's only a few that is actually left. So that is the Euro Great British Pounds for week 35 in the top 5 EA. It did $154 or 1.5%. We have the Euro USD, $51 or 0.5%, and the rest is pretty much crashed and burned. Obviously, at that particular time when we set up all the accounts, we set them up with very small grid sizing of about 10 or 20. And with the market that has completely changed since we did the first demos, well, they crashed and burned. And that means that these two accounts only made $204 or 1.0% at the end of the day. We do have some data for the month of August. Again, here, Euro Great British Pounds made for that month, 1,323 or 13.2%. We have the Euro USD at $638 or 6.4%. And then Euro Swiss francs, $348 or 3.5%. Overall, those top three in the top five made $2,309 or 7.7%. So it looks like it's actually going okay, but we obviously have to completely change them. Last week we had Great British Pounds USD and USD CAD also crashing in here. And obviously all the numbers are not looking very well. We actually left some of the accounts that didn't completely blow to trade also this particular week. So that's why you see an additional loss in here. So if we go and have a closer look at it, see that things did quite well, about 1,800, 1,100, 800, 700. And then starting in July, where things got exciting, still looked good at a time with 1,600, 2,000, and then 1,200. Then I also reported back here that the drawdown was going up for the lucky trader, where it was going down for all the other EAs. And then shortly after, we actually ended up with another couple of accounts into minus 14,883 in loss. And again, this particular week here, because we haven't made any changes, we just wanted to see how, if it could dig itself out of it. It couldn't, and we had another loss of minus 9,198 overall. So having a look at the month, you can see we did quite well in June and July, so very good numbers. But the month of August has completely destroyed the lucky trader, and that's also why we need to come up with new settings, which obviously a lot bigger gap sizes here. We have to re-strategize on exactly how we're going to trade this particular EA in the future. In the meantime, we're going to have a look at Alex and Expert Forex in here. He has sent out a new video basically showing how you can make 100% return per day. And again, with the scalper. So this is one of the EAs that has been with the Expert Forex for a long time. So this is the Make Money EA in here that you can actually also use as a scalper. That particular EA comes both as a set and forget, but this particular style, I suggest that that set and forget didn't work. We never got it to work really well. You have to basically find some individual currency pairs that is the best ones, they're trending the most, and then trade those particular ones. Again, this particular video here, it is a back test that is showing this particular part, but it still gives you a very good idea what this particular EA can do. And then you simply just have to dial down the risk to a level that you are actually comfortable with. The second one that Alex has made is also testing free indicators using the strategy tester. And this particular video here comes down to, again, that obviously we use the strategy tester for the RSI, the Wave, and some of the other EAs. But you can actually also test some of the free indicators that you find on the MT4 platform in here. And that's what he's showing in this particular video. Both of the videos obviously will also be in the video description below, so you can go and click those links in order to find the videos. Now we're also going to tell you a bit about the new updates that we mentioned in the beginning. So we did have an update up to version 4 in the prior week, and we updated into that. Since then, there's actually been a couple of versions, 5 and 6, right after each other. And for the Wave Forex Liberator version 6 here now is the latest one we have. We have updated all of ours. The RSI Forex Liberator is also at version 6. And then the Expert Forex Hedge EA is currently at version 5. So you can go again to your EA factory site in here. So if you are a member, you can download the latest ones. I have to tell you again that these are actually free upgrades, which is obviously nice that once you have bought the EAs, you will get the individual updates for all your EAs as they are coming out. You don't have to pay anything additional, so which is a great feature within Expert Forex. And that's what we had for you in this week's news report. As you can see, the profit is still flowing in. The Forex market is definitely still on the move. It's on the prowl. So you got to be very, very careful when you are setting up your copy link service. You're setting up your own set files. Make sure that you put in a conservative setting to make sure that you are ready should the Forex market once again start trending or start basically going crazy, similar to what you have seen on the Trade Explorer. You can trade these particular EAs for a very long time, similar to what we have done in here, and all of a sudden the market flips, the market changes, and then you're getting a drawdown that is 2 or 3 times higher than you have ever seen before. So definitely be careful, be observant of what is actually happening on a day-to-day basis with all your EAs and your links in here, and you should be hopefully okay. So I will report again next week exactly what is actually happening, what is up, what is down, and hopefully we will have more profit to look forward to in the next video. So until then, I hope I see you around. Bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed our news report. So please don't forget to like and add your comment below, as we would love to get your feedback. But before you go, make sure you subscribe to the channel and don't forget to keep the notification bell turned on. That way, you will never miss any of our future videos. We hope to see you back on this channel very soon.